finally convinced her to join me for a video. A, because she wants to talk about magic. B, because barely 50 people will watch this video. So it works out.
I like magic cards.
Yeah, I hooked her into magic when we started dating, and you're like, yay, now you're all obsessed.
I've always liked magic cards.
And
I played Pokemon too when I was a wee baby.
I reignited your enjoyment of it. So yeah, Throne of, I was going to say Eldritch Moon. That was in a completely different set. Throne of Eldraine spoilers officially started today, and Carrie is going to just, share her thoughts on it and join me for the video. So, day by day you'll have spoilers, and I'll talk about them. You can join me for whatever ones you want to join me for. Now, a couple of these don't have...
Wait, this is a daily thing or a
weekly thing? Yeah, it's a daily thing. Like, every day this week.
That's how it works.
Every weekday there's a new spoiler. Some of these, because of the site I'm on, don't have a picture to them, and some of them are not in English. I'd have to go to find them elsewhere, but I can generally get the idea of what they would say. So, we're just going to give our thoughts on it. Trust me, if I could have the picture here, I would.
This is the
Camelot
Fable.
The Camelot Grunn's Fairy Tale blend. But we have Knights seem to be a really big thing in this set. Camelot, obviously. Venerable Knight.
Knights of all colors?
They're knights in all 5 colors. Yeah, like every color has its own order of knights. Venerable Knight, though, is 1 white for a 2/1 human knight. I don't know what unfortunately, the rarity is. I'm going to guess either common or uncommon. When it dies, you put a +1 counter on target knight you control. If you're in the knight deck, great, but that's the thing. It needs to be in the knight deck to get the...
I'd go for it. I have a knight deck I'm working on.
Trust me, when this set comes out, I'll probably be making a knight deck. But even as just a one-off, it's 2/1 for 1, so... That's good. It's a good 1-drop, at least in that sense.
1 for 2/1.
Witches of it, Hansel and Gretel. 1 colorless for an artifact. You tap it, sacrifice a creature, and create a food token. If the sacrifice creature's toughness is 4 or greater, you create 2 food tokens instead. Real quick, what's your take? I know you said it, but just for the folks at
that would
their home.
do well in a proliferate deck. So
what's your thoughts on the food tokens?
I haven't seen enough cards with food involved.
I've seen a couple. Like the Gilded Goose has food. That Oko Planeswalker has food. Baked in a Pie has food.
Is that a sorcery? What is that?
I haven't shown you that. Real quick, I gotta show her Baked in a Pie. Where are you?
Pie.
The thing is, I don't think it's actually in the set. I think it's in one of the special decks. Where are you? Baked in a Pie. There it is. Baked in a Pie. Guess my
black card, of course.
Yeah, my secret ingredient. Well, I can tell you this: it's not love, that's for sure. And there's a hand crawling out of it. But yeah, you destroy a creature and create a food. Also, that card right there, Savvy Hunter, which I talked about yesterday, that makes food as well. When you attack or block, you make food. Nice. In terms of food as a whole, Proliferate really wouldn't work because Proliferate works with counters. It doesn't work with tokens.
Oh, okay. So,
Parallel, I can't remember if Parallel Lives works with creature tokens.
Oh, that card. I have been defeated by that card.
I can't recall if that works with only creature tokens or with, I actually have to look into that. That's just creature. Because then you could definitely get some use out of it. But otherwise, you'd be sacrificing. Sacrificing walls could certainly work for getting the extra 2 food. But ultimately, food just gives you life, and it's not doing anything.
Sacrifice saprolings. I was thinking of the Devour.
I know you actually got a good point because you could sacrifice any creature. You don't have to just sacrifice, a non-token. So that's not terrible. I'm guessing it's probably uncommon.
I need to get around to making a fairy deck.
Well, you're going to get a lot of options with this set. Shambling Suit is 3 of any color for a artifact. I'm going to say it's construct and the type's cut off. But its power and toughness are equal to the number of artifacts and enchantments you control. If you're in the deck, have at it.
I'm curious to see what the art for that.
I can probably find it. I'll find it after we're done with the video. But
zombie related or something.
Hey, it's 3/3 for a card that's at minimum going to be a 1/1. So, and then as long as you got your food tokens for example, then you're going to obviously have a lot more power and toughness.
Give the suit the food.
Mystical Dispute is 1 blue, 2 of any color for an instant that is uncommon. It costs 2 less to cast if it's targeting a blue spell, and then you counter target spell unless its controller plays 3. So if you're up against blue, you've basically got a 1 blue counter spell for 3. Or a counter spell, they got to pay 3 to not make it get countered. If that sentence made any sense. Otherwise, I'll stick with Monolith. Thanks a lot.
What's Monolith again?
1 blue, 1 of any color, same effect minus the blue, minus that part.
Yeah.
Except they got to pay 4 instead of 3. So I'll stick with Monolith. Thanks, man. But of course, you can't find Monolith. The final Planeswalker, which I can't, is in Russian, so I can't. I've actually seen it spoiled.
Really awesome artwork, though. I love that.
Well, the thing is, it's the Royal Scions is what it's called. It's Rowan, which is the red one, and Will, who's the blue one. They're a really unique Planeswalker duo because they're brother and sister who actually share a Planeswalker spark, and they're from this plane. So, yeah.
Oh, I like that.
Now, for these next cards, I gotta make sure I get the order right.
Pumpkin!
Well, here's the thing. I gotta get these order right because it's telling the tale of Cinderella. So, the first one is Once Upon a Time, which is 1 green, 1 of any color for a rare instant. If this spell is the first spell you cast in the game, you may cast it without paying its mana cost, which I just think is a freaking amazing ability.
It fits with the Once Upon a Time.
Yeah, Once Upon a Time.
Story, yeah.
Look at the top 5 cards of your library. You may reveal a creature or a land and put it into your hand, the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. It's a standard search ability.
Like Vivian's Invocation.
Exactly, yeah. Or the Walking with Dinosaur one.
I've only ever seen cards that say whenever you cast your second spell.
Yeah,
so
but yeah,
this
is the first spell, and if it's the first one in the game, not just on the turn, then you can cast it for. That's if you have in the opening hand or something like that. That's a fantastic card. Otherwise, it's just a decent card. But then it goes to Wicked Guardian, which is the Wicked Stepmother. 1 black, 3 of any color for a 4/2 human noble, common. When it enters the battlefield, you may have it deal 2 damage to another creature you control, and if you do, draw a card. If the creature's big enough to live, that's great. Otherwise, I don't like blowing my stuff up just to get a... I don't think our cards are value, but I've never been a big fan of black. It's my least favorite color, so...
Really?
Yeah, I'm not. I mean, despite the fact I have a lot of good black decks because I just want to try everything out, it's still my least favorite color.
I see her in like a Rakdos deck for some reason.
Again,
because the what's it? Menace. No. Sorry. No, it's Spectacle. But that's if you deal damage to a player.
Then you're dealing damage to your creature.
If she could deal damage to a player.
Now I'm trying to if you were to somehow make a black dinosaur deck, you can make that work because then you have Enrage. There's only a couple black dinosaurs. Like there's one 7/6/3 costing zombie dinosaur from M20, and there's a black legendary elder dinosaur in Rivals of Ixalan. But then we go to Fairy God, or is it Guidemother? Yeah, it's Guidemother, not Godmother.
Is this the third card in this one story? Yep. Okay.
Because I'm trying to go story beat by story beat. Okay. It's a 1 costing white fairy, so 1 white fairy, flying 1/1. So that's that. But it has the adventure cost, which in terms of the adventure, which is Gift of the Fae. 1 white, 1 of any color for a sorcery adventure. Target creature gets +2/+1 against flying till the end of turn. Now, just to reiterate, adventure works this way. You can either play the creature as it is, and if so, you don't get to play the adventure part, or you play the adventure sorcery first, exile the card, then later on you play you activate the creature whenever you want. Obviously, if it has flash, you can activate it then.
Delay, but
yeah,
that's pretty good.
Yep. In terms of
I mean blue and white.
Blue and white, actually, blue, white, and black. Actually,
and black. Yeah,
actually, the only color I've seen so far that they're not in is red. That's the only color I haven't seen them in. But then you get the Enchanted Carriage, which is a pumpkin carriage
vehicle.
It's a
vehicle, yes!
And it creates 2 white mouse creature tokens to group to.
I love that.
Maybe it's not the most strongest card in the world. It's only a 4/4 that doesn't do anything else in terms of its vehicle, and it costs 5. But for a flavor home run, you knocked it out of the park with that wizard.
Enchanted Carriage.
But then turn into a pumpkin is the next one.
It looks like it looks like a zombie's being turned into.
Yeah, I think it's a knight turning into a. Yeah, it's the suit of armor.
It's just dissolving into a bunch of pumpkins.
Yeah, it's 1 blue, 3 of any color for an instant uncommon. Return target non-land permanent to its owner's hand, and you draw a card. That's good. And Adamant, which is the other new ability in the set, if at least 3 blue was used to spend, or 3 blue mana was used to pay activate this card, you can create a food token. I mean,
you get a pumpkin.
Yeah, you get a pumpkin, basically. And I'm sure there's going to be a pumpkin token. Because there's plenty of food tokens that are going to be
pumpkin tokens, specifically pumpkin.
Exactly, a pumpkin food token.
Pumpkin food token.
Absolutely, there better be a freaking pumpkin food token.
Is Adamant new to Eldraine?
Yes, this is a set. This is a mechanic new specifically to them, and I like it because it's rewards you for just playing in a single color or whatever. It's not going to be as easy to use that kind of effect in a multicolored deck. But then it's Return to Nature, which then the pumpkin's the only thing left.
Naturalized, but
more or less, yeah, actually, because it gives you a few more options. You either destroy target enchantment or artifact, or exile card from a graveyard. Don't really know how that last one's going to work, but whatever.
That's great.
They did already spoil the glass slipper, like last week. It's basically just a 1 red, 1 of any color for a equipment artifact that costs 1 to equip, and your creature gets +1/+0 and haste. That's all it does. And that's a good card. But last but not least, it's actually Wild Wolf Tracker is actually the prince who goes to find the slipper for Cinderella.
Tracking down the slipper.
And it's an elf warrior, 1 green, 1/1. When it enters the battlefield, another non-human creature you control gets +1/+1 until the end of turn. Oddly enough, not a 1-drop I want on turn 1, because it won't do anything.
Who's this fellow over here?
Any thoughts on the whole story beat of Cinderella?
No, I love that. Obviously, the vehicle, the pumpkin. Just imagining 2/2 zombie charioteering a pumpkin.
I'm going to guess too that every day is probably going to be a story being told.
Right.
Like for the official spoilers and other things showing up. But one you were looking at is Murderous Rider. 2 black, 1 of any color for a 2/3 zombie knight rare card, lifelink. When it dies, put it on the bottom of your owner's library. Or you can do the adventure, which is Swift End. 2 black, 1 of any color, so the exact same mana cost. Destroy target creature or planeswalker, you lose 2 life.
And then you exile this card.
You exile the card, and then you could play the knight later on. So, I mean, honestly, I'd probably prefer to play the knight.
That would also be good for whenever you play a card from exile, or this creature gets +1/+1 counters for all the spells that you have in your graveyard and in exile. But that's a blue-red thing. I've not seen that in black.
Yeah, and even if you were to splice it in black, very few cards work with both the exile area and the graveyard. That's still very niche. Exile is still pretty niche, but doing both is the most niche you could be right now. Don't get me wrong. The removal is great because it'll destroy any creature and any planeswalker, but if they don't have a planeswalker, you got to focus on creature. And if you're behind on creatures, you want to play the knight instead because it's got a bigger butt and it's got lifelink.
If you do the adventure dynamic or effect, you put Murderous Rider in exile, and then you can just cast him.
Yeah, you honestly just cast him the next turn because they cost the same. Not all the adventure costs and the normal casting costs are the same.
In a zombie deck, all black zombie deck. Oh, that
could work. A lot of zombies tend to, not a lot of zombies tend to have lifelink, but there usually seems to be something that'll gain you extra life when it comes to zombies.
I've got a zombie deck with a ton of lifelink equipment and artifacts. So
hey, however you make your zombie deck. Brimstone Trebuchet, which I'm glad they put that name of that word on the card. 1 red, 2 of any color for artifact wall, 1/3, reach defender. Tap it, deals 1 damage to each opponent, and whenever a knight enters the battlefield, you untap this card. So it's the same kind of standard effect we see with a lot of these types of cards. The pirate one.
What's the pirate wall? Oh, it's just the same exact thing.
It's the same exact, except it's a different power and toughness. It's a 0/5 or something like that, and when you play a pirate and all that. Or the one you have, or that I have. I don't know. It's not the same thing where you play an instant and you deal 1 damage to something. It's a little different. But I have one that does do that. I think it's Jealous It or something like that.
That's a great, the whole, it deals 1 damage to each opponent if you tap it is great for the spectacle thing, which I guess is just in my head. And also,
you want to make a Rakdos deck,
I want to make a spectacle deck, and then it's also a good one for avoiding, if you're playing against someone who has a lot of, every time your opponent casts a spell, you get to do something. Or
True. Obviously, though, you would still have to be in a knight deck to make that work, obviously, because it's dealing with knights. And then we have, first off, we have
There's more.
We have, oh yeah, there's several more.
There's so much more.
We have Murderous Writer's alternate art, which all these cards pretty much have some alternate art.
I like that one.
They have like alternate fairy tale style art.
Oh yeah, they've got this metallic.
Some of them just like don't have the borders to them, but others have.
Yeah, like this border is Victorian Gothic.
Burning Yard Trainer is 1 red, 4 of any color for a human knight, uncommon, 3/3, trample and haste, and enters the battlefield. Another target knight you control gets +2/+2 and trample and haste.
More knights.
Again,
More knights.
If you're in the knight deck, great.
But
Otherwise,
there's a black knight. There's a red knight.
There you go. We've seen white knights. I'll be honest though, the ones we haven't seen yet are blue knights. I'm wondering about those. And I'm wondering about green now that I think about it. I haven't seen Green Knight yet, so I'm wondering what is going on there. But yeah, another one that when you have other knights, fantastic card. When you don't, you still have a 3/3 haste with trample. But for 5, I'd rather play some other cards.
Oh, also you can do it's not shapeshifter, but there's certain artifacts I've seen or spells in general that I've seen that say all creatures you control are now share a type.
There's 1 or 2 that came out in Modern Horizon.
So you could
Changelings obviously can be every creature type, and you could have them be knights too. So that's a way to get around that. Yeah. Joust. 1 red, 1 of any color for sorcery, uncommon. Choose target creature you control and target creature you don't control. Target creature you control gets +2/+1 until the end of turn. And if it's a knight, these creatures fight each other. Okay. Look, if nothing else, it's a 2/1 pump. So, frankly, I'd probably rather use it for the 2/1 pump on something bigger than a knight. Because then I don't have to fight and possibly risk losing my knight. So, because most knights aren't that big. At best, you're probably going to see one at like 4/4. Of course, we haven't seen all the cards in this set yet. There might be some really big knights. And then there's Jousting Dummy, which is a 2 of any color, 2/1 artifact creature Scarecrow Knight.
Scarecrow and the windmills in the back.
All I'm thinking now is Robin Hood Man and Ty's like, hey man, maybe we should think about sending the dummies in the battle.
I think they're going off of
oh no, they would have probably
Don Quixote.
Maybe a little bit.
I think that's what they're getting.
Possibly. Yeah. But it also has the ability +3, pay 3 of any color, give it +1/+0 until the end of turn. As a dummy, it would die pretty quick, but that's the point. Wishclaw Talisman. 1 black, 1 of any color for an artifact, rare. Enters the battlefield with 3 wish counters. You may pay 1 and then tap it, 1 of any color. Remove a wish counter from it and search your library for any card, put it into your hand, then shuffle your library. However, an opponent gains control of Wishclaw Talisman, activating the ability during your turn only. So you'll get at least. Here's the thing, though. Here's the real thing. This is deceptive, and at least I think it's deceptive in how it looks. You'll get that 1 great use out of it. It goes to your opponent. Now, you might think your opponent might want to use it at least from the get to get something they want. Then you'll get it back. No, because what they're going to end up doing is just wait until, you're just try to, assuming they're ahead of you, just try to whittle you down or get major hits in, outlast you long enough, and then search for the final card they need to kick your ass. So I'm not really a fan of the card. Unless you can find a way to get it back to you after you give it to your opponent, I can't say I'm a big fan of it. I mean, what do you think about
it? If it didn't make me let my opponent have control of it, and had I'd be willing to pay a higher mana cost and to keep it in my control the whole time.
Like if it made 5 for the same effect, but I kept it, and maybe I paid 2 instead of 1, I could still see that being a good card. Questing Beast. I love this thing. Just from its design. It's a 3-headed freaking cat lizard. 2 green, 2 of any color for a 4/4 mythic rare legendary beast with vigilance, death touch, and haste to start. It cannot be blocked by creatures power 2 or less. Combat damage that would be dealt to a creature you control can't be prevented. And when this card deals damage to an opponent, it deals that much damage to target planeswalker or that the player controls.
Whoa.
So basically, they just said, cram as much awesome shit with no downside on 1 card as you can and make it a creature. Holy I want to open this in a release.
I want one.
There's like no downside to this, besides the fact it's 4/4, so a bigger creature will kill it. Sure, I guess that's a downside.
Right.
There's like no downside to this card. I want all the copies of it.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if this is supposed to be... It's a mythic rare sword. It's an equipment. I don't know if this is supposed to be...
Cleave
Yeah, I don't know if this is supposed to be Excalibur. If I had to guess, Excalibur might be a white card. Assuming they make an Excalibur. Otherwise, I think it might be. But Ember Cleave is 2 red, 4 of any color for a legendary mythic equipment with flash. Now, the spell costs 1 less to cast for each attacking creature you control, hence the flash. Then, when it enters the battlefield, you immediately attach it to a creature you control, aka one that's already attacking. Then it gets
just in the middle of attacking, and a sword just appears in its hand.
Exactly. So, hell, it might be Excalibur then. Then it gets +1/+1 and double strike and trample. Its normal equip cost is 3. So
double strike.
In the type of deck you would want to play this in, like little mini guys probably, or your knights, which you're going to have a lot of small guys attacking. You'll probably have at least 3. You'll probably swing and probably play this for 3. So, look, it's a good card regardless. I really like it. I could find a home for this in one of my decks, I'm certain.
Think of what deck I would put it into.
Well,
each attacking creature, probably my goblin deck.
Yeah, probably.
Well, but wait, each attacking creature, does that include tokens?
Tokens, yeah. No, tokens are good. It doesn't say it would have to say non-token for not to include creature.
Yeah, the goblin deck.
But you'll also notice here the other version of the alternate art you get. When it's not a adventure card, you'll just basically get these like full art cards, which still look great. Like you see the full expanded art on some, they look fantastic.
I like it when they don't have borders too, and the text box on the bottom's a little bit see-through.
Yeah, just a little bit. I really do like that. Wicked Wolf, which I'm guessing is supposed to be the big bad wolf. For Little Red Riding Hood, 2 green, 2 of any color for a 3/3 wolf creature rare. Enters the battlefield, it fights up to 1 target creature you don't control. Sacrifice food, put a +1 counter on this card and gains indestructible to the end of the turn. Granted, you tap it after that. See, there was a card in Guilds of Ravnica that did something similar to this. It's a Golgari card that you tap, you sacrifice it, give it indestructible, and tap it. I don't get why you tap it. At best,
I would use that dynamic. It reminds me of the Thriving Turtle, except it's not energy counters.
I think you can still block when you're tapping. That's the thing.
Oh, you could get around that by just having an instant that untaps.
True, but then that's a lot more work, and then you have to also sacrifice the food, which you could probably use for more cards. And I think
the food.
Yeah, and now we're on to our final cards of the day. Let's see if I can pronounce this. Paturihiria de Caverhirnes of something. Some elf creature riding a fox, a very big fox. But it's 4 hybrid Selesnya.
It's an elf knight. I can tell that much. Okay. Yeah.
No, that's still white, so I can't count that for the green. I guess I can, maybe.
You tap it and
I believe you tap it and you give creatures +1 till end of turn.
And then
you can put a 1/1 human. Yep. Onto the battlefield for its adventure cost, which, for weirdly enough, is it? Now wait a minute, is it just 1/1 human? Because for 4 mana, that's a lot for a human that has no other ability.
But if you have,
I'm guessing it might be more than 1.
Where whenever a creature enters the battlefield, and then maybe have it along with a Is it populate or proliferate?
Populates for tokens, proliferates for counters. On the whole, because here's the thing. This proves to me that we're getting a full 10-card hybrid cycle, because we already have the Azorius hybrid, which is a 3/3 artifact creature owl. That's really good. I really like it. And then we have a Boros one. I
want to see the artifact.
I'll show you that afterwards.
Artifact owl.
Yeah, I actually, art-wise too, it just looks gorgeous. If nothing else, I'm loving the art design in this set so far. Blow Your House Down. Obviously, a 3 Little Pigs reference, which I can't wait to see the 3 Little Pigs on the plate that we saw in the trailer. 1 red, 2 of any color for a sorcery. Common. Up to 3 target creatures can't block this turn and destroy any of them if they are walls. I can't think of how many walls many people have. I know you have a couple walls, so if I were to use that against you, that could be fun. But that being said, up to 3 target creatures can't block this turn? As long as I correct creature to attack, I like it.
That fits right in with the, the amount of creatures you have. What was it? That card we just saw, the red one.
The red one? The Embercleave?
Yeah, when attacking for each attacking creature you can.
It costs one less. So... Yeah. So that way, by preventing creatures from blocking, you're basically freeing up for a lot of hurt if you're lucky. We'll skip that one because we don't have to skip that one. It's just someone was able to translate the card. Obviously, they found the actual card image and just kind of put it on there. It's not the full image.
Can I read it?
Sure, go ahead.
All right, Doom Foretold. It's 1 white, 1 black, 2 of any color. It's an enchantment. At the beginning,
it's rare.
It's a rare. How couldn't you tell?
See it, it's gold.
Okay. I keep looking at the glittery thing on the bottom. At the beginning of sparkly. At the beginning of each player's upkeep, that player sacrifices a non-land, non-token permanent. If that player can't, they discard a card. They lose 2 life. You draw a card. You gain 2 life. You create a 2/2 white knight creature token with vigilance. Then you sacrifice Doom Foretold. Well then.
I very much like this card. It's not the strongest card in the world, and it could bite you in the butt. But the problem is with let me rephrase that. The upside with it biting you in the butt is it really can't, because even if you're the person who has to sacrifice it, lose 2 life, and discard a card, it still says just you regardless. So even it says whatever a player has to sacrifice it, you gain the 2 life, you draw the card, and then you get the 2 knight.
Yeah, the only way that could possibly backfire, from what I can tell, is if you're just being milled or something.
Yeah, or
because it's the beginning of
the only other thing I can think of is if you have maybe 1 card left in your hand, it's a card you really want to play, but you get stuck, and maybe you have a big meaty creature on the field. That being said, in those colors, I don't think you would, unless it's like a demon or something, or an angel. And then you have to sacrifice the angel, discard it's fine. Discard, then you have to discard the card you want, get rid of your big meaty guy. Instead, you get a card you don't want by drawing, and then you get a 2/2 knight to replace your big meaty guy. That's the only scenario I could see that screwing you over. More than likely, though, if you're playing this kind of deck, you're more than likely going to be forcing them to sacrifice stuff. So, ultimately, though, it's, again, not the strongest card, but I do like it a lot.
I like the artwork. It looks like there's
it looks like something's crumbling.
Solar eclipse going on in the background.
Yeah, some solar eclipse, and a building is crumbling to the ground.
Things are falling.
Witch's Vengeance. 2 black, 1 of any color for a rare sorcery. Creatures of the creature type of your choice get -3/-3 until the end of turn.
If you have a black deck and you're going against me with my knight deck over
here, if you got a knight, all
the knights are dead.
As long as they're 30 or less, they're going down.
Yeah.
Here's the one thing about that. In the limited formats, again, sealed, pre-release, draft, all that kind of stuff, that works out great because probably a lot of people are going to be in knight decks. Outside of that, unless you're playing someone like we usually create a lot of specific types in your decks, it's not going to do much. Specifically, if you're going up against like a deck, say it's a dragon deck. Well, 3/3 ain't going to do much against dragons unless you play multiple copies of this.
Yeah.
In which case, you're better off just blowing up the board. But it's still a good card. It would screw my saplings over pretty hard.
Right. Well, that's, one of these days I'm going to have the awesome satisfaction of having a card like this against a deck which just makes little 1/1 tokens.
My cat deck's pretty screwed against that. I don't have a lot of cats that are have a toughness higher than 3.
Yeah.
And then last but not least, it's Giant Killer, who is basically Jack from Jack and the Beanstalk. And they did show the giant from Jack and the Beanstalk. I'll show you that one a little
Human
later.
Peasant.
Yeah, we got nobles and we got peasants.
Got nobles and peasants.
1 white for a 1/2 human peasant rare. You can pay 1 white, 1 of any color to tap tap a creature. Or you can play the adventure first, which is chop down. 1 white, 2 of any color. Destroy target creature with power 4 or greater, aka bring down a giant.
Yeah. Call it a culprit.
It's a pretty good card overall. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how many people play these as sorceries first and then creatures second. Because clearly it's more expensive to play it as a sorcery, but probably more advantageous in the long haul. So if you get this in your opening hand, what's your move going to be? That being said, if you got multiple copies of it, I guess it won't matter that much. But that's really all the cards that got spoiled today. There might be a couple more that get spoiled by the end of the night, but that's pretty much it. Just because you asked to see them. Let's just quickly...
Yeah, I wish we could make a little window showing...
Yeah, I really... Oh, wait. There's the bird. It's an owl. Isn't it pretty?
Arcanist
owl. And it enters the battlefield. Look, top 4 cards of your library. You may reveal an artifact or enchantment. Put it in your hand and the rest on the bottom in any random order. So yeah, it's.
Are there a lot of auras so far with
No,
the
actually, there
Eldraine?
aren't. There's a lot of equipment, like a lot of artifacts in this set.
Because I have a deck I'm working on that's auras and equipment. That's
like,
all
if
white,
I had to bring it, let me actually get
the knights would fit in with that.
Let me actually get the full spoiler page up here.
Shining
Let me get. They do all the colors, artifact, and land, but they don't give you enchantments. So there's one enchantment or all they're called All That Glitters, where you get +1/+1 for each enchantment or artifact.
That's a good one.
And then there's Frogify, which is basically Casmina's transmutation. Where are you?
Yeah.
Yep, the Frog Prince. It's the exact same card, just different name and picture, which is still awesome.
He's got his little crown on there.
I love the flavor text. Like,
wait, I want to read it. That gnat was still hovering by the venison, and now both looked delicious.
But other than that, there are no other auras as far as I can tell in the set. Yeah. Not yet, anyway.
Just artifact.
And there's the Beanstalk Giant. But overall, if nothing else from a flavor perspective, home runs all around. I'm loving everything coming out of this set so far.
I've been trying to get more into blue-green because I don't know why, but blue-green I can never really get my head around.
There's some full arts of these guys.
Looks like blue-green fairy might be blue-green fairy types with equipment added on.
They gave you all the alternate art for some of them right there.
No, this artwork's looking great.
Yeah, I'm loving it. So yeah, this was day 1. I'll be back tomorrow for day 2. If you'll join me, you're more than welcome to. So thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe. You know the drill. I'll be back in a little bit with a Who Would Win. Tomorrow I'll be back with another one of these and a Lantern Corps video. So keep your eyes out for those. Until then, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye.